But so I went back and I did like the rewriting, like my ideal life, and writing it like in that present tense. I know it's in a lot of the other books too, but I was wondering like how many of the activities you've actually gotten a chance to do and like what the impacts have been.
Um, a lot of like the one that we're talking about right now, I've done previously,
Hmm.
and in a little bit different context. I wrote it from the perspective of my ideal day, like what my ideal day in my ideal life would look like. And
Right.
I think I talked about that on our podcast interview, but like you got to make it as like the more detailed that I've been getting with these, like the more like tangible and more I like get get the experience of it without actually experiencing it. Um, like one of the things I want to do is get back into racing, car racing,
Right.
and when I describe like my ideal day, like I describe the smells, I describe the atmosphere, like the type of people that are there, like what kind of beers in my cooler at the end of the race, what kind of
Awesome, man. Yeah.
stuff like that. The more like I make these things detail oriented,
Right.
the more real they seem, and the more like even though they're far fetched, they actually seem realistic.
Sure. Sure.
Like there's that yin and the yang, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know that like for this one he says, write it so that it's almost, realistic enough, and then uh like everybody else says in a lot of other places, like act as if, right? Act
Yeah,
like that's really the life or the day that you've got. Um so I'm just curious, like, do you end up doing that too? Do you end up doing the acting as if and like kind of taking on that persona and be like, yeah, this is real.
yeah. Like you break that down. Like I've taken that and broken it down into okay. I know this isn't true like right in this moment, but what has to be true for me as a person? Like what do I need? What skills do I need to get? What things do I need to accomplish in order to actually realize this or realize components of this? Like my wife and I want to have a beach house, but we don't want to have this big elaborate beach house.
Right.
We want to have this like little I you know I don't want to call
Cottage.
it shanty because we want it to be nice, but like this little spot on the beach.
Right.
But we don't want this big elaborate house. We don't want all this stuff. So like all the materialistic stuff.
Right.
So what has to be true to make that happen? We have to downsize. We have to minimalize our stuff
Right.
so that we can have this little getaway on the beach.
Right on. Right on. No, very cool. Very cool. So, so I think a lot of those activities have been the same. How far have you gotten in the book yourself? Like how far?
Like I've been trying a technique of like hitting the wave tops in a book so that I can get through it faster and like scanning for these like gold nuggets
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in the book. So I've pretty much scanned through the book.
Oh yeah.
Like I've kind of speed read through it, but I'm starting to go back and I need to like I did it way too fast, so I need to go back and reread it. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that happy medium of like
Yeah.
quickly bring stuff on board and learning it,
Right.
but not like sitting there monotonously like reading every single word in a
Right.
book. Like I'm
Right.
like trying to strike that balance.
No, I hear you. That's definitely. So that's actually why I went back and actually did some of the exercises, right? Like I actually went back and did one of the exercises where I'd done two of the exercises. Like one was like, um, kind of jot down like your story and like what you're telling yourself and categorize it and put it like,
Yeah,
in all those places. So I did that. And then like following that, you're supposed to kind of rewrite it. And that was difficult for me just because like, I'm like, it's a lot like, look, I've never been an awesome goal setter. So it's like, as soon as I write it out, I'm like, what if somebody sees this and it doesn't happen? And, then they know I had these dreams and plans or whatever. but I finally made myself write it down, and just like you were saying, when I wrote it down, it became real. My mind saw it as real. Like, I
Yeah.
saw myself in that event. I saw myself in the space, and I was like, well, there's no reason, why not? And the other thing for
You,
this, go ahead.
you mentioned something there, like, what if somebody sees my silly dreams? Like,
Right, right,
what I've found is I've started telling people my silly dream. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Someone laughs at you. So what?
right,
Like,
right,
I found that's been it's been interesting seeing people's reaction. Like, I've been telling more people, like, instead of me telling them what my 9 to 5 job is, what do I do? I'm starting to tell them, no, I'm a discipline coach, discipline consultant, and I have a podcast.
right, right.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. How's that?
most people would be like, what the fuck is that? Like,
Right, right. How,
it,
how?
like I would get a strange reaction, but it's actually I'm starting to like have fun with that, like seeing people's reaction. Like,
Right.
people are like kind of scooting up, like piquing interest, like, okay, tell me more about that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's cool.
and
That's cool.
it's been reassuring
Yeah.
that people's reactions aren't really that bad.
Right. Well,
So
so yeah, for you, like initially to do it, like I did that last year. Was it? No, it couldn't have been last year. It was earlier this year, I guess. I went somewhere and somebody's like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I do podcasting and on fatherhood and this, that, the other thing." And initially it felt kind of weird to do it. As a matter of fact, like I just ran out of my cards, and now like my regular business cards just have my name and stuff on there anyways, but I'm gonna start putting on there. I'm gonna put on there fatherhood for the rest of us. I'm gonna get the whole thing done up, and I'm gonna have, consultant, coach, and all that other stuff done. Because, dude, if I can't believe in myself, how am I gonna expect somebody
yeah,
else to do it?
yeah, yeah. It's like you got to get that elevator pitch down.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I'm still working on that, but I also still have to, work on. Somebody does sign up for coaching. What do they do?
Yeah, your systems and your
Right.
like all that stuff.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right. So I think that that'll be something that I work on pretty hard coming up. But this book to me has been really, it ties a lot of other things together for me, right? It ties a lot of, like if we go through that one section, the mental chatter. Have you done any of that? Have you written down
yeah.
like your mental chatter at all, and then
Um,
done the gratitude thing at night, and then made a note of like how the differences are the next day?
I definitely do the gratitude. Like, I write down both morning and night something that I'm grateful for, something I'm looking forward to doing during the day, or
Right,
something that I was glad that happened during the day. I
right,
do that. For the mental chatter, I I haven't written it down. I'm definitely developing that layer of awareness within my mind of quickly supplanting that negative thought with, like, no, this isn't really that negative. Like, how can
right,
I
right,
turn it around to be a positive experience, no matter how shitty the situation may seem at first.
right,
So,
right.
but I haven't like gone through, written it down, and kind of done like an emotional or I'll call it emotional, like, autopsy. Like, okay,
Sure.
what have my
I love
emotions
that term, dude. I love
been
that
throughout
term.
the day?
There's the goal we're looking for. Emotional autopsy. That's a saver, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I don't think that I have either. Like I haven't gone like deep in it, but what I'll do is like
yeah.
when I wake up, I do, and I haven't been, religious about it, but every night, like, I try and do before I go to sleep, just think about 5 to 10 minutes, and definitely at least 5 minutes, or around five, closer to five, where I just think of all the things I'm grateful for having in my life, right? And then when I wake up the next day, I'm really noticing how much better I feel the next day, like how much like
Yeah,
less mental chatter there is. Um, so I think that that's played a big part, and I think like we can kind of wind it up as a like the other part that I think is kind of important. You said like more awareness. Are you calling it like a traveler? Are you calling it like a
I just call it my observer, I
okay,
guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, I'll tell you another thing that I've done, though, and maybe this is a reason why it's not. I think I'm very proactive. with my mental chatter. And what I mean by that is I have like, and I'll drop these in the group. I mean, I don't care about sharing it, but I've created a list of, I call it doctrines, but it's just a compilation of affirmations that I read. Like, for example, before I go to bed, like I'm able to, like, it doesn't matter if I get like 8 hours a night or 4 hours a night. Like, one of the things I tell myself is I'm going to get exactly the amount of sleep that I need, and I'm going to wake up refreshed and ready to kick ass in the morning.
Awesome.
Like, that's one of them.
Right.
And there's like 20 or 30 of these, whatever it is. Yeah. And I've got one that I read like after I commute home, before I get out of my truck and walk in the door. Like, I have a set of affirmations that I read to get my mind right, so that I'm present for my wife and daughter. So I can shut off, so that I can shut off the chatter from my work day, and I can be present for them.
I like that.
And I do the same thing when I go in the gym, and I have just a general one that I read every morning. I've got it hanging. I have it actually hanging above my toilet, so whenever I take a piss, like, I read through it. Or if I take a dump or something, like, I can pick it up and read it if I don't have a book right there.
Right on.
So it's like I'm somewhat engineering my environment to root out that negative mental chatter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Positive stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree 100% with all that. That's awesome. I like the one that you're talking about. The before and after you kind of come home too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but, and I'll drop it in the group.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Absolutely. I know that I think for my weekly newsletter, or whenever I get it out, kind of newsletter, my next week was going to be like affirmations, right? Kind of talking about them and good places to use them. I'm going to steal that from you. Well, yeah. I'll give you a heads. I mean, I'll give you kudos or something, whatever. I don't know how it links from
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know if you noticed my post, like, you can't patent an idea. You can only patent a very specific implementation. So, like, take it, put your spin on it, throw your logo on it, and fucking use it. I don't care. I stole that shit from the guy that's mentoring me.
What was I going to say? I mean, I said that the other day in Carl's group. I read through. I'm going through one of the Stoicism books right now. Right, every morning where I wake up and I just kind of read like one chapter of Epictetus. Right. And I was like, dude, our thought processes really haven't changed in like 2000. We haven't had like an original idea. Like, none of this stuff is new, right? Like, that we're thinking about and talking about. It's just so it's just reiterations, I guess. But I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, and look, man, I think that this is big, right? Like, kind of getting together. This is kind of what doing this thing was intended for, right? Just kind of bouncing off each other and seeing where we're at with the book and how it's helping. And what else do you think we could do to help each other more, at least as it relates to this book, right? Because dude, I'm telling you, I think that it's rocking my world, right? Like, it's just because I'm actually doing some of the activities, and I've done some of the activities before, but it's like when all the information that we've been, like you said, you're trying to read faster and do all the other stuff and put all this more information into your head, but like, at some point it's all got to gel. Right. It's all got to land in one spot. And this book has helped me just like coalesce it and put it all in one spot, because I'm seeing from everywhere, all kind of in this book.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing that I haven't like seen before, but like you said, yeah, it's definitely like kind of at least bring it together in a way that resonates with me, I guess.
Is it working? What do you think of the book? I mean, you got through it all the way, but
yeah, like I said, I went through it way too fast, so I missed a bunch of stuff. So I need to go back and redo it. But
I slowed down.
It's very it's got everything that I want and nothing more. Right. You know what I mean? It's got the important shit.
Yeah. So. Cool. I'm glad. I'm excited. I'm actually thinking about, I might do it again. Is this or another one? I might do it again like next year and make it like a 6-month thing or something, because it seems like you could go like that deep with it, right?
Iterate on it.
Yeah. So I might do it again next year. and see if I can get like maybe have this be like the background book type of thing and go like 6 months with it and like have a group of guys go like through it again, because dude, I think it's a great book. It ties a lot of different things together, a lot of different like cultural things too. So and trying to put in like that passenger and just calling it like that, right?
Yeah.
Also really just kind of gives a title to a lot of things. Awesome, brother. Well, man, I just want to say thanks for connecting real quick. It was really good just to kind of get together.
Yeah.
If you want to do it again, just give me a time when if lunch works best for you. Let's do it again, like in a week or two. I know next week will be like Thanksgiving. I'm not sure how yours is going to be, but
Yeah. Next Tuesday, if we do it again a week from now, that'd be cool.
it's today Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I think I told somebody I'd take them to lunch. I'm gonna go hang out with somebody for lunch next Tuesday.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No worries. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, brother.
Alrighty, man. This is fun.
Oh, absolutely, brother. All right. Take it easy, Kenny.
Take care, man.
Bye now.